43 winners carved in the concrete veins. Steel bars, counted birthdays, counted pain. One voice pointed a finger, truth been in the room. A lie dressed as certainty sealed another man's doom. Clock kept ticking while the system stayed still. Paperwork heavier than the burden to kill. Yeah, stack like
I like how they open. I like how that opens, man. It really traumatized me, man. Boom, man.
One of the few who used their time wisely.
Who that?
You.
Oh, without a doubt, man. Listen, man, if you see me, I'm on the block with my paperwork, writing. Either I'm doing law or I'm either, dealing on how I'm going to approach this thing on the street when I'm free, because I'm already free, right? They can't tell me that, I understand my destiny. See, that's the difference between, myself and others, and I'm not denigrating anybody, but I'm saying that I understand my life purpose, right? And when I came here at 19 years old, a young man, yes, I didn't know it, but as time went on, and we talk about decades, right? We talk about, 3, 4, 5 decades, a man never being in prison in his life, never being in the precinct, right? For anything. Walking through this journey, man, you know what I'm saying? Just walking and listening to himself, because I didn't have I wasn't taking any advice from other men, right? Because I was in prison. I don't know these guys, man. I know game. So I had to listen to myself. I was forced to listen to that intuitive part of myself that I neglected for 2 decades on the street before I was charged unjustly for this crime. So I had to learn how to tune myself into that knowing self that says, listen, man, this dude ain't cool. I could sense it when he walk up, and I don't run away from nobody. I engage. But then you can feel it, man. It's like, wow, so that has worked for me for the last 38 years. And guess
And
what?
that's what you have in, right? 38 years?
Yes. And when I get out, I'm not letting that go.
God, James, I'm 40, I think 41.
So okay, you young boy.
Basically, my entire life, man, you've been in there.
Yeah. Even, man.
And
luckily, I had a little...
like, that can happen, because you said, like, that wasn't your demeanor. Like, you were destined for prison, but it just happened.
Sure.
Like, so it could happen to anybody.
It could happen to anybody. But also, I look at and I'm being honest with you. I'm being blatantly honest with you. I'm looking at, I'm out there in the street. I'm snorting coke. I'm drinking, I'm partying with these dudes that's, what I'm saying? And I didn't want to be there. Real rap, man. I was like, but, I grew up in that. So, but I always, like, if they did things like with women, like, right, if we tricked, right, we went and got a joint, we did and then they would do something foul. I say, ho, no, man, give her money. You know what I mean? What did you do? Man, F her, man. You don't know her. I don't know her, but give her money, or I meet her around the corner and give her what they were supposed to give her. You know what I'm saying? So because I had all sisters. Yeah. So I have an affinity, man, for the female species, man, that's beyond even my understanding sometimes. But I learned so much from my sisters and my mother. My father wasn't there. My mother gave me the game, how to survive in them streets. So I learned from a feminine perspective. And yes, it was in the midst of a male, tough, pimps up, hoes down, and all that crazy stuff. But I always had my sisters in my head if I was to do something towards a woman. I always had my mother's voice, and I just could not go that deep, with the denigration of women. So even now, a guy told me, yeah, man, my baby mom, man, that B, man, she, yeah, she hung up on me, but it's all right, I'm going to take her off my list. Why? Cuz, you know what I mean? Or she ain't send no money, man, F her, man. Why? Hey, Black, man, that's why I don't like talking to you, man, because I'm just telling you what's right. Why you gonna, she out there with your kid, your two sons. She making sure their hair is cut, their book bags got pencils and books in there. She's there making sure they get their breakfast and go to school while she working two jobs. She working two jobs. In the morning, she's working in Burger King. In the evening, she's working in Wendy's. And sometimes at night, she work at another place because it's hard for her to find a full wage job that's give nice wages. So she hustling. How's you looking at her like that? So it's hard to try to get that to guys to understand the plight of women and raising males and female children. That's a heck of a burden, man, but they find a way to do it. And when the kids come up to see these guys, the guys feel happy because their son is saying, no, dad, or yes, ma'am, or excuse me, and they wonder where this coming from. This ain't me, I'm a thug, but it's coming from her. That woman,
James, do you have children?
Not that one, right, that I found out years ago, and I have to get there to find out what's the deal with that, right? And look, the child would be 38 years old, because it happened before I fell. And somebody years later was like, yo, man, but they didn't want to give me the information of the person. So I remember we was in Atlantic City. I met a nice girl. Other than that, so I have to track that down when I get there.
I couldn't imagine. Oh, man.
Yeah, I know. But it's not my fault.
Oh, no, right? I know.
That person didn't come track me down, right? They didn't try to find me, but that's okay. Because had I knew who they were, where they lived, I would be on them. But I say, okay, man, that's destiny, right? I understand this. And when the child is there, and when I get there and I find the child, look, man, it's not my fault. It's it's the system and the whole nine. So what can I say? But here's my paperwork. This is where I've been. This is how I fought to get out of it. Can you see me fully? Because I had two chairs and somebody needed a chair.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to say to the child that this is where I've been, man. It's not my fault. And even the mother, they could have tracked me down. My DNA is in the system. So I'm not going to blame anybody. I'm going to say, here I am. 38 years has been a long time. What can we do? Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, man, I don't have kids either, but I could only imagine. I used to fear being told I have a child while I was in there, because it's for certain people, and I know you're a good person. It would affect you.
Yes. It kills me, but luckily I'm aware of my mind and how thoughts can be your worst enemy and how you got to gain control of it. So regret, right? I can't dwell in that. I can't take that up like a blanket and just live in it because it'll age you. You will look up living in regret and time will move like that and your whole biological, so it's a lot of psychological and biological ramifications that come with regret or living in regret, right? You have to acknowledge it and then, okay, this is what it is and step out of it. And when it come up, hey, man, entertain it and then move on. But you're not to hold that and harbor that, for the rest of your life or your bid, you know what I'm saying? So I don't live in regret. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. I'm not dealing with what could be, what might be. I'm dealing with what is. That's it. Because if I try to deal with what should be, what could be, what I hope to happen, right, and not deal with what is, then I create what? Conflict in myself, right? And I don't need that conflict right now. So what I do is drop the what could be, what should be, and deal with what is right now. So therefore there's no conflict with me or in my life because I'm not pulled here or there. I'm just standing on the midst of what is. Now, how do I deal with the what is day in and day out until I put myself in a position get what I'm supposed to have, and that's freedom, justice, and equality.
When's your court date? That's coming up, right? Or
Now, I just found out of a flash update, and we got to talk about monetizing because I need some legal funds. I need some ideas of what to do to try to galvanize some funds. Now,
for an attorney?
this no, I have an attorney, but to pay them, right, investigators and things like that. So I want to put together a defense fund. I don't know how. I'm in prison, okay? I don't have all this insight. You're there, you have access. Maybe you can help me. The 17th of March is coming up. I thought it was the briefing date. I'm gonna have my attorney send you the brief, but I need your email number for him to
Yeah.
forward the brief to you.
Did you bring paper and a pen?
Email. No,
All right,
no.
I'll email it to you. That's your niece or your sister that I talked to?
My niece.
She has it because she's emailed me before.
Okay. All right. Now I got my sister too, who's now being in control because my niece was drained out for the things that I was asking her to do. So my sister Dana, and I respect that, man, because she got two boys to raise.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people get burnt out, man.
Yeah. So I gracefully said, be free. I sent her some money. She sent it back. Boy, I don't need that, but I understand women, right? But March the 17th, I was under the impression that it was a briefing date, but it's a date to add my attorney ad hoc to the attorney that I have in Pennsylvania. The attorney that I'm adding ad hoc is a Boston attorney who did the Walter O'Gras case, and I got him while watching Death Row Stories. I was able to convince him to help me with my case. So all he have to do is now do ad hoc, do the attorney that I have now, is put the paperwork together, which March 17th will be the finalizing of it because the judge is asking for that. She wants to be correct in that. She, even though I
Who's
have
the
a
judge?
lawyer here.
Schultz.
Schultz. All I ask for is a fair hearing. That's all I ask for. Is a fair hearing. So yes, so they're gonna finalize that on the 17th. Right? But we're also going to submit motions, boom, for more evidence, because there's stuff missing. So March 17th will be the date of finalizing the Boston attorney with the Philadelphia attorney. This is why I need to galvanize some type of funding so I could keep, feeding the beast. You know how this go, man. Nothing's free in America. So I'm trying to find a way.
There is ways. I know somebody. Actually, I know two people on here who got donations, and it's helped them.
Because listen, back in the day, I tried GoFundMe. They told me, get out of here.
You can't even do a GoFundMe.
I know.
Because you're in. But there is another site that allows it, and I can't remember what it is. But
all right.
But it's like GoFundMe, but it's for things like this.
Okay, well,
I'll have to find it.
What GoFundMe was saying, listen, you walk up out of there, you could put it on, right? You overturn your case, and you leave, you could set it up. So I say, okay, all right. So that's what I got to do, right? And that's what I'm in the midst of doing, right? So that's where my motivation comes from. However, like I said, I'm trying to find ways, man. Listen, I'm an artist. I do art, One of my art pieces is in the, if you go on my Facebook, My niece said she put it up. One of my art pieces end up in the Philadelphia Inquirer, right? For a museum. I donated it to them, and they loved it, and it was on the front page of the Philadelphia Inquirer. You could go online and check that out. I
Your
do,
Facebook, you said?
yeah,
What's
yeah.
the is it under your name? James Green? I
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah. It's Green. It's Green James 2468, I think. But my niece put it up there, and they telling me like,
I'll look for it now
uh,
because
yeah, yeah. But yeah. So yeah, man. So I'm trying to galvanize that, find ways to galvanize that, and hopefully, you know, feed the lawyers because they doing a great job, man. I really feel I have confidence in these attorneys. Out of all the attorneys that I have, my family has put up roughly $90,000, man, dealing with this madness. And there was a time where I just stopped. I said, no, I'm all right. And I just sat back for 5 years, man. It did, far as financially, did nothing to pay lawyers because I got so fed up with them, and how they was, you know, just misconstrued my issue, not arguing. It was like, they felt that they didn't work for me, and I was the inmate who don't know nothing, right? So shut up and we'll do what we can do. So I've been through that for, man, 20 years. I gave up on attorneys. Why Jesse Jackson on there?
huh?
That's one of the paintings I did. Yeah, yup. That's the paint. I did that a long time ago. That's Larry Krasner and Martin Luther King talking.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. You see it?
Yeah, where's that painted at?
A girl I had, man. I told her to take it to Larry Krasner, and she stole the painting, man. So I don't know where the painting at. It's in the ether sphere
So
somewhere.
you said so it's out here somewhere.
Yeah, it's out there, man. And the woman, I think she still got it, but you know how sometimes they hold on to things that's dear. But it was supposed to go to Larry Krasner. He just became. I think it was 2018 when I did that.
Oh
You
wow,
know.
look. This is
Okay, yeah, that's another one. That's an old head who was a basketball coach, man, when I was a young man. Yeah, okay, all right, they got the ball moving up there. Huh? That's me in the mural arts. Yeah, yeah, that's great, man. All that stuff is gone. Now that's the one
yeah.
right there. Go back down. Go
And
back
then
down.
there's us
See, see the woman. See
right
the
here.
woman is called the Great Guardian, right? That right there is in the museum.
Oh
That's my
yeah,
first. Yeah, that's the first biggest joint I ever did.
that is nice.
You know what I mean? It's in the museum, man. Listen, and I took mop string, right? Brand new mop string, and did the braids, right? Boom, right? I did the braids. You gotta see it. That's why you actually gotta see it. I took the mop strings and put it in there and embroidered them
Oh, that
gold,
was
right?
yeah.
You're
Oh
right.
man,
I did
that's
that.
cool.
Then at the top, I embroidered this like a joint holding her locks. Oh man, that joint crazy, man. You got to see it though. I mean, it's not just a painting.
Where was that painted at? Was that at Graterford?
No, it was here. I did it here.
Oh, Phoenix. All right.
I did it here probably about 2 years ago.
How long were
It
you
been
at
in the.
Graterford? I wanted to ask you that.
I
That's
I came to Graterford in 201 and been there
2001.
ever since. But I started in Western and then Hunterdon and then Graterford.
So you did like almost 20 years at Graterford.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It
You
didn't
know,
seem like it was here.
it's like a tourist attraction almost. Like people are trying to
I
get in
heard.
to see it, and
I
it's on
heard. I
social
heard.
media.
I heard.
Actually, you want to see it?
Now listen, here's my thing with Graterford. And I know Tom, right? Here's my thing with Graterford. My university, by the grace of God, well, okay, let me say Holmesburg. I went to Western after that. caught up, taking people packages and, getting high and all that. I got kicked out of there, went to Huntington. That's where I woke up at. Boom, that's my university. That's when I came into me, right? Then being there from 90 all the way to 201, I came to Graterford. And when I came to Graterford, the level of mindset, the level of camaraderie, the level of, manhood was decimated. Everybody trying to hustle somebody. So my talk would be just that talk of Graterford and the mindset of the men, not all the men, but a majority of the men. And the minority just stayed in their cells and didn't want to deal with the rigmarole, right? That was the order of Graterford, the underhandedness, man, the working with the cops, and I'm on a winning team, and fuck y'all, excuse my expression, y'all losing, right? The score is 1,000-1. I'm getting on this team. So you had that. It wasn't always like that. In the 70s and the 80s, it was us. It was camaraderie. We ran that joint. But once they got rid of all those OGs, they let the creeps come out and gave them positions, and they just became a part of the system, and Graterford turned to nothing. So my talk would be about Graterford was the change of mindset that I met and I saw when I came there. It hurt my spirit. And I actually say to myself, if I stayed in Graterford from the beginning of my bid, I wouldn't be the man that I am today. Because you had to get down with the get down. It wasn't no nice guy. It wasn't no damn Mark. This boy Mark, he just came through. Damn, he looked fucked up. Let me give him some slippers. Yo, you need these, man? It wasn't none of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It wasn't no camaraderie like what I grew up in Huntington, man. Men was men, man. It was beautiful. So that was a rude awakening, but I needed that to get out and prepare myself for the world, because the world is just as vicious as Graterford. The same mentality, personality that you had in Graterford, the underhandedness, the cunningness, the slickness, I gotta get something out of you, right? Yeah. The competition and all that madness is right out there in the street. So James, you just being prepped so you can identify these personalities once you get free. So I looked at that as a school. I stepped back from everybody, even my so-called gang, North Philly, Richard Allen, all that. Man, they thought I was from Pittsburgh. I was so quiet. So my take on Graterford would be, it was a coffin. It was a bad place for men, especially young men, because they would see the old heads doing that and they'll figure that this is the way, man. Get it how you got to get it. So
I asked a couple people if they wanted to watch it or narrate it, and it's like trauma for them. Like Shakur.
What? Bring it on. Bring it on.
He was there, I think, like the early 90s.
Yeah.
That was It was a lot different before that what was that? That raid that they did, the FBI in 95?
Sure. That killed everything.
You remember that?
That killed everything. Yes. I remember my old head got a lot of the OGs. Now we dealing with time. A lot of the OGs that they kicked out, a lot of them were sent to Huntington.
From there, from 95.
Because they wanted to get rid of them. Because them dudes, listen, when they ran the organizations, that money went to North, Southwest Philadelphia. Now they got these dudes running these organizations. Guess where the money go out? Doylestown, PA, places where the economy is doing well, right? Yeah, man. Come on, man. Look at this. Oh, look at this. Look at this. That's the new side. Look at this. And this is what it should be. It should be, you know what I mean, decimated and turned to rubble.
Get up in the side.
Look, those the blocks right there. Look at
Yeah.
that, man. I used to
I
walk
I
those
found
hollow
I seen
halls.
my cell in here a couple times.
I was on C block. Look
I
at
was
that.
on
That's
D and
going
E.
down.
I think
Wow,
Shakur was
man.
on C block
Yeah.
before.
Look, we got to do something just on this, man. We have to do something. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. Yeah. They had to shut that joint down because scabies and all type. All right, put it this way. Walt Whitman and Benjamin Franklin were the first designers of the prisons in America, okay? Walt Whitman, right? The guy who did the bridge, architect, and Benjamin Franklin. He was also an architect. And they built the first prisons and penitentiary. And they said that every 60 years, these prisons are to be demolished, tore down, and rebuilt because they will be inhabitable, right? For those living in them. Look at this. This joint been up since 1926. Look, and we were still in it not too long ago. So if the architect said, "Yo, we gotta tear this stuff down," why was we in it 50 years, 60 years, 70 years later, right? Because they said, "Man, the hell with that. We're not wasting no money on tearing these down. Keep them there." So nature took hold, and diseases that start festering. The guards start getting sick in Graterford, right? And the asbestos was high, cancer was high, and they knew this. And then they said, "Okay,
There
we
was
gotta shut."
asbestos in there?
What? Really? It was built 1926, if I'm not, mistaken. Asbestos was everywhere. We was breathing this stuff, man. The radiators. You see what I'm saying? The radiators, man, was
Up
so
in the cell.
old.
You're talking about yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about on the old blocks. And when that heat come on, you breathing everything. You a dead man. And don't talk about the water. Oh my God. Don't talk about the water. When I first got there from Hunterdon, I took and got a cup of water because I was thirsty, and it was like 7 Up, fizzing. I said, "What the hell is this?" I smelled it. I said, "Oh, I can't drink this." So I never drank the water. Guess where I got the water from? You remember them little hot water sprouts they used to have? I don't know if
Yeah.
when you came there, but I would get the hot water in a bag, right, and take it and drink it throughout the day, cause I need water. You know what I mean? I know the importance
Yeah.
of water, but I couldn't drink the water. Look at those radiators. Look at that radiators right there. Those rust, all that
Yeah, and they
stuff,
got
man.
those are
Listen,
in the cell. I remember.
yes. And when they come on, you in trouble, right?
You remember
So,
that there was like a bar, there was like a pipe that went across and went through everybody's cell, and
yeah,
it like had a
yeah,
nozzle that like it looked like it
yup,
could gas us,
yup,
and that was the rumor that it was gonna gas us.
yup.
Do you know what that was?
Listen, no, nobody does. It was something, a pipe going somewhere.
That
Now
probably really
that's the
was to
childhood.
gas us.
Yeah, look at this, man. Wow, this is despicable. You might see me walking through there. The food wasn't even like that when I got there. It was worse, you know. But yeah, man. Graterford was a bad experience, man, and I'm
I
glad that
remember.
it's the way it is because you couldn't stay in it. Like I said, Walt Whitman and Benjamin Franklin said, demolish them and rebuild them, right? And for convenience sake, financially, the money got pocketed and the jails remain. They were forced to build this one.
The
This
what?
one that we on, and this is a rush job. This Phoenix, this $1 billion taxpayers deception. Man, we are on swampland. We sinking this joint like this.
Yeah, that's the rumor.
No, that's the reality, right? It's thinking like in another 5 years, dog. In another 5 years, this joint they're gonna have to get us out of this.
That's
But they
the
rush
whole.
job. Yes, yes, that's the whole. Yeah. And that's where I came alive up hunting because they had a hole just like that with cages. And when I read Nelson Mandela's book, I saw the same cages, right, in Huntington for the hole that I did in Nelson Mandela's book. I said, wow, right? So, but yeah, man,
I
those
read
places,
Mandela's book too.
yeah, man. Then they give you the
That was rough.
Robin Island, man.
What do you
You
get?
know,
8 squares of toilet paper a day
yup. But
and two
now, but what?
buckets.
2 buckets, baby. So, and you don't eat crazy. They don't eat like us,
Yeah,
right?
they
The
he
brothers
ate
probably
cabbage
eat.
every day for what
You see what I'm
17
saying?
years before
You
they
see?
transferred him.
You see? You see? Right. So a lot of them wasn't clogged up, and a lot of them didn't have junk in their system. They had Cheetos and corn chips and soups and all that crazy stuff. But yeah, man, this would be a good thing to talk about because it was bad, man. It was an old spirit and it had to die.
Yeah.
And now here's the sad thing, even though this is a new spirit, it's called Phoenix, and Phoenix is coming out of the Greek every 500 years. The phoenix bird dives into the fire, and 500 years later it rises out, right?
So
But there's
that's the
nothing new
premise
here.
behind the naming that.
Right, right. And the symbol. Look at the symbology of it. It's a bird coming out of fire, and you can see fire flaring off of it, right? Yeah, man. So, but that's a misnomer because there's nothing new here. You just transferred the same mindset from Graterford to here, and this is Graterford 2.0, right? Nobody wants nobody wants to do anything. Paperwork is lazy. The incompetency is heavy. Oh my God, I could go
Well,
on and on.
you said, were you there or did you see Cosby when Cosby came through?
Yes, I was here. Yeah, Cosby from my project. I talked to Bill Cosby. I worked in the hospital, so I got to really get close to him.
What they kept him in
Cause
the infirmary?
no, he would get sometimes he'd get a little woozy, and they'll quickly bring him down there to get the doctor to find out what's going on, because they couldn't. They knew they illegally sentenced him, but they couldn't let him die in there, right? So he got preferential treatment when it came to health or medical. Oh man, because we don't want Bill Cosby dying in here. He's already illegally incarcerated, right? So I was able to talk to him. I was in the room with him. I brought him food, the whole nine. And we talked. We could get into our conversations that me and him had a little later on due to time constraint. But listen, man, that paintwork. Think about that. The art stuff that you see, and say to people, man, if they want something done, a family member or something. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, this guy's willing to do it, and we'll find a way to work that, and we could split the proceeds because I'm saying I need to feed these attorneys. You see what I'm
What would
saying?
be your total goal to, your reach goal
Far as
financially?
money, um,
Like,
well,
do you
for
even
the
know what you
attorneys,
would need?
yeah. For the attorneys to have in my possession $6,000, 7,000 will be good because I can say, all right, send this to the investigators, send that to that, right? But over top of that goal would be freedom because I'm getting out of here. My time is up, right? Freedom, at least have 5 stacks for myself, right?
Five
In the
stacks?
event that,
What,
yeah,
what do you think you're gonna do with 5,000?
I'll just have that to be able to hit the ground.
All
At
right.
least I could get something to eat, right? So I'll work the rest out from there,
Okay.
right? I'll work the rest out. I believe in destiny, man. Like I said, when I walked through these joints, I was unscathed, dog. You would think
Yeah.
that, something happened to him, right? But I'm being honest, you know. No, I've been through a lot, but
Well,
I've been
5,000
unscathed.
isn't that much anymore, James.
Listen, I understand the value of currency, and I understand this is why we having these wars right now. We trying to steal people oil to boost our currency. We need to push it up because you could go to Cancun or other places, and they tell you, no, we don't want the U.S. Use our currency, right? The depreciation of it is at an all-time low. So this is why your wars is happening. This is why we getting, situations with the economy in this country because that dollar is at a low. So 5,000 will be 2,000 value-wise, and I know that, I understand that, but I will use it wisely, right? I wouldn't just spend, I would use it wisely. I would eat light, right? I will hold on to this, while I'm working to get more, you know what I'm saying? So I understand the rigmarole, I understand the currency fluctuation and where we're at, but I also have a gift, right? Art, speaking. I got the art museum, Philadelphia Mural Arts. They willing to give me a job from the door, $18 an hour, $20 an hour to speak on behalf of the mural arts and how it has transformed my life, right?
See that?
So employment, I really don't, right? I got the yoga. I'm a certified yoga teacher. I had teachers out here in Montgomery County. They waiting for me to come home so I could do some sessions with them. They wrote a beautiful letter to the judge concerning me and my well-being and saying, man, he has a home in Montgomery County, right? So I have so many vehicles, man, and I have so many talents that I've garnished being in this place for 38 years. I haven't wasted time playing cards or checkers or chess. I haven't wasted time, talking frivolous conversations, not to denigrate anybody that do their time like that. I understand the mind has to be fed some way. I just chose to feed my mind in other places that I felt would be beneficial to me out there in the free society. And that's where I'm headed, you know what I'm saying? So I've prepped 38 years for this day. So I don't live in fear, right? I've looked fear in the eye and I found out fear was my friend, man. And I'm grateful for fear, man, for that time. Because coming through, yes, you had to have a little fear so you could be better prepared for what you was dealing with. So fear became my friend. Now fear is my homie. It's no longer my adversary. You see what I'm saying? It's my friend, right? So I've conquered that. I've conquered death. The fear of death. I understand, from birth, infancy, childhood, adolescence, adulthood, old age, time to go, buddy. So I have a short span of time here, and I appreciate time. I embrace time. I'm not a adamant hater of time. Time is there to just let us know that, yo, man, what have you accomplished? Yo, man, 60 years on the planet, 30 years on the planet. What have you accomplished? 40 years on the planet, dog. People are dying at 10 years old, right? Kids are being aborted. You've been here 40 years. What have you done? Where's your, okay. Then time come knocking on the door for you to get on out of here because we got babies coming in now that got technology and information, man, from far lands. And they coming, man, with a healing. They coming with a technology that could heal without, monetizing everything and telling the person if you have this sort of cancer, it takes $300,000 for us to deal with it. These kids that's coming in this world, they gonna come with that knowledge. They gonna come with that healing power, man. So I believe that, and that's my belief. And here I am, man. Ready, baby. I'm ready, man. Can't wait to hit the ground running. So I said a lot.
I mean, it's sad that judge, her backlog is ridiculous, man. And every case is just getting continued.
I'm in there though.
Yeah, I know. It's just a matter of getting you in there sooner.
That's for the guys who are just getting in.
Right? Oh, you've been in?
I've been in, but I had lawyers, man, that stagnated the process. They was taking so many cases, right? Because they was looking at the lawsuits, they didn't care about the cases, and they postpone it, like Marone. You familiar with Marone firm?
Yeah.
Yeah, they creeps. They was whole about $1 now. And the inmate that gave them the game, he ended up locked up. They took my money, okay, but I'm back. It was just a setback, a minor setback. So yeah. So I could drop the beef brief today, right? That's why it's not gonna be no 2, 3 months after the 17th. We're gonna sit down with the lawyers after the 17th. We're gonna say, okay, that's completed. Now it's time to drop the brief. You feel okay? Let's put the motions in with the brief, and it's moving. So I'm in a good place, man. I'm in a great place. And I'm glad to have you, man, Marcus, to give me this opportunity, man, because I couldn't do this no other way else, you know.
So I hope I can help more.
Hey, man.
Justice finally speaking starts tomorrow at 9. Justice finally speaking starts tomorrow at 9.